Let's get right into it. Number 8. You prefer texting over calling. Most people think this is just a generational thing, or maybe you're being rude, but it's actually a classic introvert trait. When someone calls you out of nowhere, your brain goes into panic mode. You're thinking, what do they want? Is this an emergency? Why didn't they just text me? Your phone rings and you stare at it like it's about to explode. Meanwhile, extroverts grab their phones on the first ring, ready to chat about absolutely nothing for 45 minutes. For introverts, phone calls feel like being thrown into a conversation boxing match without any warm-up rounds. You need time to process what someone is saying and think about your response. Texting gives you that buffer. You can craft the perfect reply, delete it 3 times, rewrite it, and then finally hit send. Phone calls don't give you that luxury. You're expected to respond immediately, and that pressure can be overwhelming. Plus, texting lets you control the conversation flow. You can respond when you have the energy and mental bandwidth, not when someone else decides to interrupt your day. Number 7. You rehearse conversations before they happen. If you've ever practiced what you're going to say to the cashier before walking into a store, congratulations! You're probably an introvert. You run through potential scenarios in your head like you're preparing for a job interview. What if they ask if I found everything okay? What if they comment on my purchase? What if they try to sell me a credit card? This isn't overthinking. It's mental preparation. Introverts process information internally before expressing it outwardly, while extroverts think out loud and figure things out as they speak. Introverts prefer to have their thoughts organized before opening their mouths. You might rehearse ordering food at a restaurant, calling to make an appointment, or even casual small talk with your neighbor. This preparation helps reduce the anxiety that comes with unpredictable social interactions. It's like having a script ready so you don't have to improvise on the spot. Number 6. You feel drained after social events, even ones you enjoyed. Here's something that confuses a lot of people. You can have an amazing time at a party, laugh with friends, and genuinely enjoy yourself. But when you get home, you feel completely wiped out. People assume that if you had fun, you should feel energized. But that's not how introvert brains work. Social interaction, even positive interaction, requires energy for introverts. Think of it like running a marathon. You might love running and feel great during the race, but afterward, you need time to recover. For introverts, socializing is similar. You're constantly processing social cues, managing conversations, and being aware of group dynamics. All of that mental activity is exhausting. Extroverts actually gain energy from social interaction. Being around people charges their batteries, but introverts need solitude to recharge theirs. This is why you might disappear for a day or two after a big social event, not because you didn't enjoy it, but because you need time to recover. Number 5. You prefer deep conversations over small talk. When someone asks how your weekend was, you don't want to give the standard "good thanks" response, but you also don't want to explain your entire existential crisis about choosing between Netflix shows. Small talk feels pointless and draining to introverts. You'd rather discuss meaningful topics like someone's dreams, fears, or philosophical thoughts than talk about the weather for the 15th time this week. This isn't because you're antisocial or think you're better than others. Your brain is wired to crave substantial, meaningful connections. Surface-level conversations don't satisfy that need. You'd rather have one deep conversation with a close friend than 10 shallow conversations with acquaintances. When someone starts talking about something they're genuinely passionate about, you light up because finally, here's a conversation worth having. This preference for depth over breadth extends to your relationships too. You probably have a small circle of close friends rather than a huge network of casual acquaintances. Number 4. You notice details others miss. While everyone else is focused on the big picture, you're picking up on subtle changes in people's voices, noticing when someone rearranged their bookshelf, or remembering exactly what someone wore to an event 3 months ago. Introverts tend to be highly observant because they spend more time watching and listening than talking. You're like a human security camera, constantly recording details that others overlook. This happens because introverts process information more thoroughly. Instead of quickly moving from one thing to the next, you take time to really absorb your surroundings. You might notice that your coworkers seem stressed before anyone else picks up on it, or you'll remember specific details from conversations that the other person has completely forgotten. This attention to detail can be both a gift and a curse. It helps you understand people and situations deeply, but it also means you're constantly processing way more information than necessary. Number 3, you need time to think before making decisions. When someone asks if you want pizza or Chinese food, extroverts blurt out their answer immediately, but you're standing there like a deer in headlights, running through every possible option. It's not that you're indecisive, it's that your brain needs processing time. You want to consider all the angles before committing to anything. This drives fast decision makers absolutely crazy. They're tapping their foot, checking their phone, while you're still weighing the pros and cons of pepperoni versus General Tso's chicken. Your friends might joke that you take forever to choose, but you're actually doing something really smart. You're thinking through consequences, considering how you'll feel later, and making sure you're choosing what you actually want instead of just picking something random. This careful decision-making process extends to bigger life choices too. While others might quit their job on impulse or move across the country on a whim, you're researching, planning, and making sure you've thought everything through. Some people call this overthinking, but you call it being thorough. Number 2, you have a rich inner world that's more interesting than reality. Your imagination is like a private movie theater that's always showing something fascinating. You can spend hours lost in your own thoughts, creating elaborate scenarios, replaying conversations, or just daydreaming about random stuff. People might think you're spacing out or being antisocial, but actually, you're having the time of your life inside your own head. Your inner monologue is constantly running commentary on everything around you. You're analyzing, questioning, creating stories, and making connections that others miss completely. Sometimes your thoughts are so engaging that you forget to pay attention to what's happening in the real world. You might miss parts of conversations because you got distracted by an interesting thought that popped into your head. This rich mental life is one of the biggest advantages of being an introvert. While others need constant external stimulation to stay entertained, you've got a whole universe of ideas and creativity right between your ears. You never get bored because there's always something interesting happening in your mind. Number 1, you feel most like yourself when you're alone. This is the big one that separates introverts from everyone else. When you're by yourself, you don't have to perform or manage anyone else's expectations. You can just exist exactly as you are. Your energy returns, your thoughts become clearer, and you remember who you actually are underneath all the social masks you wear throughout the day. Alone time isn't just something you enjoy. It's something you absolutely need to function properly. Without it, you start feeling overwhelmed, irritable, and disconnected from yourself. You might feel guilty about needing so much solitude, especially when society constantly pushes us to be social and outgoing. But solitude is where introverts do their best thinking, recharge their energy, and connect with their authentic selves. You're not antisocial or broken for needing this time alone. You're just wired differently, and that's perfectly normal. Some of history's greatest thinkers, artists, and innovators were introverts who did their best work in solitude. So, the next time someone makes you feel bad for wanting to stay home instead of going out, remember that you're in excellent company. That's all for today. If you recognized yourself in most of these habits, welcome to the Introvert Club. There's no membership fee, but the meetings are canceled because we'd all rather stay home anyway. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.